Hi guys, welcome to the Proper Jogger. This is a vlog designed to inspire all you runners out there, no matter what your ability and level, to get out there and keep running. Thanks to all of those of you who have been tuning in to my recent vlogs. Not many done to date, but really positive comments, guys, really appreciate it. And yeah, keep those comments coming. So this vlog is about overpronation, and I thought quite important just to give my perspective on the importance of having the right footwear. As many of you runners will know, running isn't cheap. In fact, actually, what you invest in your footwear can have a significant impact on both your running, your performance, and your general health and well-being, certainly in terms of how you prevent injury. So I'm going to talk you through the various levels of pronation, what they mean for you and how you can address them, and I'm going to do a quick review of the latest shoes that I've bought, the Saucony Glide 10s, give you my thoughts on those. So quite simply, when you're running, actually having the most appropriate footwear is the key. I mean, it's the critical factor in your success. And actually the features of running shoes and the way in which you land, or your feet land, can mean so much. So there are three levels of pronation. You've got overpronation, underpronation, and then somewhere in the middle you've got neutral. And let's look at them in turn. So neutral pronation is probably the most common. What it effectively means is, as a runner, when you land, you typically land on your heel, and the motion of your foot goes through a natural movement so that your ankle and your foot are aligned, so you're getting efficiency, you're absorbing the shock of your foot hitting the ground, and as you take off on that foot, you're taking off right on the ball of foot where you should do. So everything's perfectly aligned, and actually, you know, in the main, a lot of people fall into this camp, which is probably why you see most trainers out there being neutral. Then you've got overpronation, which is unfortunately the camp that I fall into, which means I have a tendency to land on my heel, but then my foot rolls in, and it rolls in to an extent that when I sort of take off on my right foot or my left foot, I'm effectively taking off on the ball of the foot around the big toe and the second toe. So my ankle and my foot aren't perfectly aligned, which means it's not as efficient in absorbing the shock of the foot hitting the ground, and therefore the choice of trainers I need to effectively address that imbalance. And then you've got underpronation, which is the opposite to overpronation. So as you land on your heel, your foot tends to move outwards, so you're effectively taking off on those little toes at the end there. And again, that movement in itself, it means that there is a misalignment between the foot and the ankle. And again, having the right footwear can address that gap. So how do you know what pronation you are? Well, the most sensible thing to do, let's be honest, is go to a running shop. Go to any of the big name branded shops, go in, tell them what you're after, say, look, I'm running, I know it's important to have the right footwear. Many of those shops can do various analysis, either gait analysis, where you can run on a treadmill and then you can watch back your landing position in slow-mo. There's more scientific methods depending on some stores you go to, and in most cases then you will be advised on the most suitable trainer for you. And at that point the sales assistant will probably show you through your various options, and beware guys, it's a minefield. There's so many fantastic brands out there, so many brilliant trainers, but the most important thing is go and get some advice, find out what you are, and then understand what options are out there. But never, guys, never be forced into buying there and then. It's always better to go and do some research. I've always done research on my trainers. I've gone online, seen what other people think. Sometimes certain shoes have a narrower or wider, have better cushioning, so always best to get the most appropriate advice. So if you're really eager, guys, to find out or get an idea of what type you might be before even setting foot in a retail store, there's a simple test that's all over the internet, which is called the water test. So find yourself a bit of brown parcel paper or something, put your foot in a bowl of water and put your foot down so that you leave an imprint of your foot. Now, typically speaking, you can assess what sort of pronation you have by the arch of your foot. Sort of a mid-range arch would be a neutral position. A high arch would typically be someone who's likely to underpronate, and if you're like me, you leave quite a large imprint, which means you've got quite flat arches, which means you're more likely to overpronate. So that's a good little tip to do. There's a little image up on the screen now which just shows you what you could be looking for. But as I say, guys, the best advice I could give anyone is go and seek professional opinion on what you need. And don't shy away from spending the money on a trainer. It is the most important piece of equipment you're going to need as a runner. And be mindful that all the major brands have certain points in the year where they will be selling either old stock as a new edition of a trainer comes out. So you can normally pick up really good running shoes from anywhere between £50 and £80. You don't need to be spending £120. But remember, if you go cheap, then effectively you're gonna know the difference. For me, what I've noticed the most out of the running shoes I've been wearing for the past few years is the cushioning you get. And for me as an overpronator, the amount of cushioning I get to support that arch and raise that arch a little bit is crucial for me, and keeps me injury free, and means I'm not putting unnecessary strains around sort of my ankle areas and around my knees. So there you go, guys. That's just sort of my perspective on it. We're all different, and we all learn to deal with these sort of inefficiencies in our own ways. So I hope that's useful, guys. I hope that will spark you to go out, if you haven't already done so, and get to know your feet a bit better, and try out some new trainers. It's great to have lots of trainers, isn't it, for different race types. So thanks for listening, guys. Post your comments below. Coming up next, a quick review on my Saucony Glide 10s. So I've just invested in a new pair of running shoes. Historically, I've always I'm not brand loyal, but I've typically worn Asics and Mizuno's. For a number of years I wore the Asics Gel Nimbus, which I found really comfortable. But more recently I've been wearing the Mizuno Wave Inspires. I've had two pairs of those. They got me around London, several half marathons. Really good trainers, fairly decent fit, wide fit. I've got one shoe that's half a size bigger than the other, so yeah, I've had no problems with them. What I have typically done though is I have added an extra insole in. That's more for my own support and stability. You don't need to. So yeah, Mizuno are really good, but recently I decided to try something different. I was doing a bit of research. I was looking at Nike, I was looking at Brooks, I was looking back at Asics again, and I read some real positive reviews on the Saucony Glide 10s. And I must admit, I've only been running in them for probably 5 weeks now. I wouldn't say I've done any significant distance in them, but I think already one thing they've got over the Mizuno's, I think, is the insole, the cushioning. I'm just looking at them now. It's the Everrun, yeah, the Everrun insoles. It's I really notice it sort of under the arch where I've got quite low arches. It's lifting the foot up, and I think in the first week I did struggle to adapt to the shoes because my foot was landing slightly differently to what I've been used to with the Mizuno. So, but I've got used to them now. Haven't picked up any injuries. They're comfortable, slightly narrower fit, but nothing to worry me. And like most good running shoes, from the minute I put them on, really they felt really good. No rubbing. They've got an interesting mesh on the top, which sort of expands with your foot. It doesn't feel like it's a sewn on design. It looks like it's got more flex in it, allows the foot to breathe a little bit more. I typically wear quite thin running socks, so yeah, it feels really good, and they look good now. I'm putting a picture up at the moment, as you can see on the screen. Not only would you not miss me in a dark alley, but they look stylish. So yeah, go and check them out. Real positive reviews. I'm pleased with them. and you know, that's the most important thing. You've got to be comfortable when running, and in many ways they're doing the hard work for me. So that was a very quick personal review of the Saucony Glide 10s. Hope you found it useful, guys. As I say, I'm no expert, this is just my opinion, certainly not endorsing any brands here, and you know, different brands work for different people, so get out there, try them, do your reviews, do your research, and yeah, enjoy your running and enjoy your shoes. And you know, if you fancy treating yourself to another pair, go on, go out, go and get some. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a lovely afternoon, so I'm off to have a shower and I think a well-deserved beer.